It was Wayne and
Wayne
Pastor Linda,
Tierney
and
and
Pastor Linda,
Linda.
Pastor Linda Anthony, and they were talking about. He was talking about Christmas trees, and he sees it the way I always seen it. Basically, it's just an ornament. Okay, basically, and there's a lot of symbolism attached to the Christmas tree that is distinctly Christian. I mean, if you want to go far
And
enough,
first of all,
yeah,
what is the first part of Christmas?
yeah, Christmas
Is
trees, the
Christ.
Christ Mass, it's very centered. I mean, the star or the angel on top. I mean,
Right.
all the symbolism is so rich in
But it's no more to
symbolism.
me. I mean, it's no more than an ornament, like bringing flowers into your house.
That's why I look at
I
it.
don't know how you feel about it.
Well, it's not. It,
I
it
mean,
is just an ornament. All it is, it's a point to set your Christmas spirit, right?
Right.
And Christmas is that way. And so many people have gone fine in the religious. We've been through so much of this where people are like, "Oh my God, it's antichrist, it's anti all this sort of stuff." But the thing is, tell me what the tree is. Tell me what a fir tree, fir balsamic tree says anything about the antichrist. I don't see it in Revelation.
No,
I don't see it in Daniel. I don't see it in Isaiah. Please tell me.
Yeah,
Because it has nothing to do with that.
I mean, the only problematic part, perhaps, is the star, because some people say it's a star of Rampham or whatever.
But you don't have to put the
No,
star
no.
on it.
You can put an angel on
top.
there.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I do another thing is too. They go far enough back. They say, well, the the pagans, the Germanic pagans.
But I'm not pagan. I'm Christian.
That's exactly what I mean. You never had experience with that. You never imported that connection, like in the Bible, the New Testament. They're talking about eating meat that was offered to idols. It's you only make a big. If somebody there who had been converted from that.
What
pagan
is an
background,
idol?
well, yeah, but
It's something you worship,
yeah,
right?
but that's what they
You don't worship a
When was
Christmas
the last time
tree.
you
I
actually got
don't.
your knees are from
Yeah, Christmas tree.
except for put a damn thing in the stupid round thing.
Right, to put the water on it.
And
And
for water. It's the only time I ever see somebody get on their knees for that crap.
it's not worship. I mean, I roll my eyes when I hear a lot of this stuff because I think it's inconsequential. And like I said, if you had a pagan past and that was something that your gods demanded of you, and you still retain that, I could say there's a problem. But
I mean, what's the difference? Okay, of Christmas tree or a prized possession, like
Right.
a knife or something that you
That-
really
Right.
you really like.
Well,
That you would feel bad if you lost that knife.
yeah, that's like
Are you worshiping that knife?
yeah. Some people would say if your job, okay, they say your job can become your idol, your career, or your
Anything can become an idol.
pursuits that you have, like snowmobiling or water skiing or snow.
But it
snow
always
skiing.
comes down to Jesus, the birth of Christ, in the end
Right.
for Christians.
That's what I'm thinking. I never could get into wrapped up on this, making a big thing about it.
You know how I always look at it is that it's this, right? When people start getting all this religious point to it, the devil's more religious than any
Yeah.
Christian ever out there. And I always look at it that way. I always look at it that when the devil's like all inconsequential about it, it's like that's what makes it so religious.
Right.
Basically, it's a time where people can actually come together and actually put away all the bull crap of hatred for just 25 days or whatever, for 30 days or whatever it is, from one point to another point, and just come together. It's the most magical time of the year where people stop hating on each other, and yet you find the most
Inane things to argue with.
and it's like it feels like that in the Christian church. If we find one thing, if that's the one thing you're going to fight about, I think you have no problems.
No, and also if they're going to get rid of the Christmas tree, then they need to get rid of Easter eggs, and that's a whole nother
Yeah, no,
wait
eggs
till we get
and
to
a whole
that
new
one.
basket of eggs. But and get rid of the turkey.
Get rid of everything. Get rid of flowers coming to your house. Get rid of any kind of ornamentations on your decorations on your lawn. You can't do plantings. Because always, pagan roots. Somebody might have worshipped the flower that you planted in your garden. It's ridiculous.
I do say that if you go to pagan worship, but
I don't
I've
even know
never
what
met a
pagan
person-
worship is. Do you?
I've never met a person that actually is going to take a tree and say this is pagan.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Pagan is anything that you go into the satanic roles to do it. That's pagan.
it's like
It's in the witchcraft and stuff like that. I've never saw a tree in the middle of witchcraft.
Well, I don't know. I've met some Wiccans that don't worship the devil.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're going to say pagan is going to go down witchcraft or going to go down Wiccans. But that's just
But they're not worshiping the
Listen,
devil. They're just not. They're worshiping more than one God.
right.
Right.
They're worshiping what they feel like their God
They have a
is.
God for everything.
Right. But you're going to get people who stand up on one Sunday morning just to make a pulpit thing to make everybody think about it. To say, oh my God, if you take the tree out.
But
you
don't
know,
you
people
think it's
see it.
like people trying to separate us, like like drive a
Mhm.
wedge into what they always attack the Christian religion. You don't
Well,
ever
so-
see them attacking any other religions.
You don't see them you don't see them mocking Judaism or certainly not Islam because they don't seem to have a sense of humor about being ridiculed for that.
But
You know,
actually,
they
if
don't
you think
seem
about
to.
it,
You know?
if you think about it, that you that's what if because we don't watch the news like we used to, and the media doesn't have the hold on us. Muslims aren't bad people anymore, like they've always told us they were.
Well,
You know what I mean? When you think for yourself,
Well, I mean, yeah, they're weaponized, radicalized Muslims out there, but the
But
bulk
who
of I
okay
met, I never ran into.
no,
never
they're
ran into
not
'em.
bad people,
No.
but the media would. They always do
Well-
that. Anytime something that I hate to say it, anytime Israel's having problems,
We're supposed
it's always that we're supposed to hate
the
the
Muslims.
Muslim countries, that we're not supposed to. But you understand what I'm saying. I'm not just blaming it on Israel. I'm just saying that they're no worse or better than any other country that you know what I
Well,
mean?
people. I mean, it's like there's multiple people, from countries that are Muslim, but I mean,
But
if you look at there's actually go online, people, and see that there's actually Jews who are in Israel who stand with the Palestinians and always have because their
I'm sure
ancestors were
there
there
are.
before
I'm
they.
sure there are,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's Jews in the United States that
Yeah,
feel the
right.
same
same
way.
way. So I mean, it's like
But
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 this fight's been
but the
going on for
media
years.
doesn't have the control that they used to have.
That's what they hate.
That I want. Yeah, because you can see with CNN's ratings are in the toilet right now.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what. Look at I know we're going to talk about this later, but look at the penny verdict.
They tried, didn't they?
They tried, and it died. And it was
No,
Black
because
Lives Matter came in and
because
tried to do it, and guess what?
they had
People stood it down.
it was like everybody woke up from a bad dream
Mhm.
when Trump was
Came back in,
elected.
right.
Well, was he elected or reelected? It's sort of hard.
I think he was reelected.
I think
Would you call it a
re-elected.
reelection or
Yeah, this is the
elected?
third time he's been elected.
But the only time, because I personally think that he should have won the second time, and yes, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think they won that by illegal means. I
But
do.
getting back, they don't have the control that they had us. Think about it. They ruined a lot of things. They ruined like going to the movies. People don't
can't.
go to the movies anymore
No.
because of
Theaters are because they were afraid of COVID.
right.
They were afraid of everything was COVID. It was
A
like
lot of movie theaters went on. A lot of things we used to do, people don't want to do anymore.
That's and the left and the
malls
people
are dead.
and the progressives want that because they don't want people to actually meet face to face. They wanted to dictate what the narrative is and be the spokespeople, even though they're not
They
from
wanna
the same
control
background.
us.
They want to control us.
You know, it's kind of like the witch the witch you remember the crud and the back when they used to go after it since people saw witches everywhere.
Yeah,
Which
they
ones?
want to burn them.
Yeah, it's kind of what the media did in 2020. They made everything, oh my God, look at COVID. Oh my God, look at COVID. And COVID became a big freaking
Well,
It
I
was-
mean, we suffered under it because we're in one of the states that
and a
was
Democrat governor.
crazy.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Not
crazy.
like Texas or
Florida.
Florida.
And she just wanted, I think she wanted, if you saw her, she always wanted to be on TV. So
I
she
remember
had recognition.
This state was one of the last states to
And it took
she
us
had
up to the court.
if we wouldn't have had good judges, she'd still be in control.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, she constantly violated the mandate she put over us. She and her family and her cronies constantly violated them. I mean, constantly. They're
know.
showing at bars without masks. Her husband was trying to get their boat put
Their
in the
boat
water.
out when it
Which
was-
everybody's prohibited to do that.
which was crazy. That
Well, you can't go
couldn't have
outside.
a motorboat
Going outside
in the middle of a lake
because
by
COVID.
yourself
'Cause you get
because it
COVID.
had an engine.
Yeah,
And that engine could give you COVID.
Or you couldn't go. You couldn't fix up your house.
nope.
No.
They had stuff cordoned off. It was crazy.
I mean, you walk through Walmart, you had
Things you could only buy
crime signs.
essentials.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was ridiculous, and what they giggled over, they loved that. They got off on that control because people, well, it's always they're looking out for our best interest.
But we were,
Yes,
so-
they
but we
did.
were in our little bubble, and we didn't realize because the news wasn't telling us that there were states out there that weren't
Right.
doing this COVID
Well,
stuff.
the only way you got
I
it,
thought everybody was doing it.
the only way you got to that news is when you talk to people directly from other states.
But-
That's the reason why they
okay.
want to bag Nick.
But going
TikTok or
back
whatever.
with where we are with the internet and TikTok and YouTube
Right.
and all the other alternative news sources, do you think they could have pulled COVID like they did if we would have had
If all these things were as popular as everything
where they
No.
are now?
no.
no.
I think that's what they're worried about too.
And I think legacy lost it. I think that a lot of the guys who keep saying about the going back against the First Amendment, they're going against that First
That it's
Amendment.
white noise.
Right. they're going against it because they don't want to lose the power, and because they put so much money into the left wing side of the Democratic Party when it comes to the media.
To get back to Daniel Penny, well, first Trump was the media's first loss.
Yeah.
They thought that they had Kamala in the bag. They
Oh, God,
they were all smiling, probably smoking cigars,
Yep.
thinking that, man, this we got them. She's gonna win. And then when those numbers came back,
And they couldn't hide those numbers.
no.
Well, they tried. I mean, remember the test screen? They said there was like the test banner, scrolling banner they had on one network. It says, it's supposed to they're tested for the voting,
That was
election
ABC.
votes.
That was
Yeah,
ABC.
ABC channel. Yeah, Kamala Harris up at 50%. I went, you're just that's just wishful thinking, people. I mean, that's
That, and then
control.
Penny's proof that they don't have the hold over the American people anymore. The
No.
narrative is that BLM's no more.
Yep.
Antifa's no more. People aren't going to put up with that.
Well, the BLM is funny because the BLM co-founder is trying to beat her chest as much as she can, and people are just like turning off the TV. They don't.
I don't want to hear that.
They
I don't. How many
In fact,
times?
they called her racist, and they actually finally somebody had the guts to call her a racist person. To her
I mean, how many times have you been called a racist?
Oh, since I was in sixth grade. But
No, I mean in recent times.
Oh.
It's like was
If
like
you're
a
white.
daily thing.
oh yeah,
Well,
mostly by white liberals.
But
from
the
the
thing
suburbs.
is, they've used it so much; it's played out. I don't care. Call me a racist. What do I care? It's a big deal.
It's like
I'm not the one that says somebody that's going to the ropes over somebody because they're white. I don't care. If you're freaking guilty, you're guilty. Black, white, green. I don't
whoever
care.
you are, you're guilty.
Okay, Joe, how many of us tried to defend the Klan, the KKK in the past? The history of
Never.
nobody does. Those guys are assholes, and they got what they deserved. I mean,
But,
nobody.
but the funny thing is, the Klan comes from the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's where they got the history
Yeah.
from it. And guess
Yeah.
what? The Democrats are the ones that are going, "Oh, you're the how the
They always
hell
do
are you
that.
It's
calling me
always
a Klan lover
it's
when you're the one
always
that loves
what
the
they've
Klan."
done or what they're gonna do that they claim that we're doing.
Yeah.
Obama's saying like weaponizing the
Oh,
judiciary.
that's
And
another-
stuff. You're the ones that did
That's
that.
another person
You're the
that
ones
got,
that
got
did
his
that.
ego a little bit deflated.
yeah.
That nobody cares what Obama says anymore.
So you got his butt kicked, and where George Clooney got his butt kicked too, and actually tried to come out and try to
Just say I'm going to be an actor now. I'm
Yeah,
not
but he
gonna-
tried to fix it and got his ass kicked. Did you hear about that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
hear
you
about that.
mean not physically, but
No, metaphorically.
I mean,
Because he tried to go on Bill Maher to try to clear it up and everything. Tried 5 times and even called Bill Maher.
Mhm.
And Bill Maher said, "My show is not for you to get your career relaunched again."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I'll come on and apologize and tell them my side of the story." Nobody
his
wants to
side
hear
is
my side
he
story.
thought he was in the know. He was one of the people smoking the cigars thinking that she was going to win.
I
She
don't-
meaning Kamala Harris.
Can I like to ask a question? Okay, these people, like, they play working class people in the movies or roles or whatever. They never even sat down and talked to. They have a contempt for us if you actually work for a living. Yet they want to depict us on TV, and then they're going to try to dictate from their standing point, from their viewpoint, and how and their bank account balance. They're going to try to tell us what's best for us.
He doesn't even live in the freaking country.
No, he lives in France, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he lives in France, came over here and did a vote.
Yeah.
Like, stay in France.
Right.
Nobody really wants you over here. Stay
Oh
back
no,
there.
he probably made money like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he made a lot.
But they talk about 71 days and she spent what was it, $1 billion, $1 billion, right?
yeah.
But they never talk about the $2 billion that was spent prior to for
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. So that's like $3 billion that they spent.
Now, do you think Soros underwrote a lot of that, or how much do you think he did? Right?
I don't think he could do billions.
Yeah, I do.
No, I think
he's
he
a
did. I
talented
think he wrote.
billionaire.
I think he wrote probably a quarter of it.
Well, and the other thing is, why is this guy taking? He's been pushed out of other countries. He's been banned in Hungary. They don't want him anywhere near Hungary.
One country wants him dead. When they find him to bring him back over, they're going to put him in prison. So you won't be able to go
Because
there.
he's crushed economies.
He's just straight.
He's ruined
manipulated
Yeah, this is the guy.
manipulated their money.
This is the guy that Barack Obama and the rest of the Democrats have gone and kissed his ring and his son's ring.
Right.
Look how many times this man came to the White House underneath Barack Obama, the son, and then actually married Weiner's ex-wife.
Anthony Weiner's, I forget what her name is, but she was
She was Hillary Clinton's
Hillary Clinton.
son.
Who now? Who now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think she was from an
That
Arab
was an
background,
arranged
right?
marriage.
Yeah.
you know.
It's like a marriage made in Fort Knox or JP Morgan Chase or whatever.
I think number 3 is one for you, John.
Oh,
I think it's pretty funny the way I wrote it.
Yeah, it is.
General Motors has stopped funding its Cruise or Robotaxi project, a move that mirrors the adaptability of Carstairs of outlaw Josie Wales. I gotta watch that
Well, you
movie.
gotta read the whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Who would sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic or Dixie based on his audience. Similarly, GM's EV enthusiasm seems to shift depending on whether Democrats or Republicans are in office.
True.
From what I've seen, yeah, because now it's the Republicans are more in control.
But
Yeah,
they just dropped EVs,
Yeah.
or not all EVs, but and they're doing it because the Republicans in office and they know they don't have to.
well, like the character Billy Bob Thornton played in that movie we were talking about a couple
Talking about-
podcasts.
Landman.
Huh?
Landman.
Landmen. He's like you said, we don't have the infrastructure set up. Let's face it. We got gas stations. You could pull up one that every couple of corners or whatever. You get enough. You roll out, you roll in, get gas. No, we don't have the infrastructure to support everybody charging their vehicles at one time in one area because we don't. The grid is antiquated
And-
as it is.
But the left is so upset about this show because there's so many truths in it that they can't.
They can't fight.
No, they can't fight it
Oh, it's-
because it's
They
true.
can't debate it because they can't debate it to win.
Well, yeah, because they can't bring out like everybody like merging like you remember. I like to teach the world to sing kind of Kumbaya
Coca-Cola,
from the
yeah.
Coca-Cola commercial. They can't bring it together. You can't. The glaring reality is like we don't have the infrastructure on the power grid right now to do what anywhere near what you're
No,
advocating.
we're like he said. Well, we're like 30 years behind.
One other thing is too the technology EVs in cold weather they don't do well.
No,
In in
When
the
that
early
pro-
1900s, they tried to do this before.
Right.
Right. In the early 1900s, there was a move to do this. Ford and all of them said it's not going to work. Guess what? They went out there. Somebody did it. They tried to plug these things in and everything. A rainstorm came in, wiped out the whole thing, fried every one of those cars.
Yep.
We have tried this multiple times in the history. Guess what? Every time you try it, it always gets screwed up.
See,
And so the problem is that you cannot keep pushing down these battery
no. I
systems.
mean, it's
over and over
nice
and
thing.
over.
Experiment with it.
and trying to
And
build
keep on
Right.
trying to build
Yeah.
it. If there's people that want to drive these cars, good for them.
because
Let them
Don't
drive
shove
these
it down their
cars,
throats.
and then when the technology is at a point where we can, because who knows, there might be something discovered within the next 10 years that we decide EVs are not worth the environmental disaster that they really are.
like lithium mining is open mining, strip mining, and it's horrific to the environment. Okay, they do that in other countries where they don't have a regulation, so it's out of sight, out of mind. That's all
Right.
it basically is.
Right.
And another thing is, even at the levels of production, you still can't keep with. And you can't. Okay, here's what the thing is: people don't understand. People gravitate toward the product because they have the perception it's better or it's easier
Well,
to use.
but you think about it, it's the elites that are. Come on, who's driving around $100,000 car?
Yeah,
I mean, not you.
A car that you can only use
In the state of California,
you
state
can't
of
go
Florida, or
you
Arizona.
can't go anywhere in it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not a family car. If you have to get back and forth to a job, you go out drinking or whatever, and you forget to charge it, and then you lose your job because you got no way to get to work.
another thing is too that we're halfway there. We have the hybrids, where they actually gasoline engine for a while. Then
I
you
don't
charge
mind
you.
those.
Those are great. I've known people have had them for years. They
No,
work
right.
really well. That's the best
Prius,
option.
The Prius is a great car.
Yeah, I mean, so
Right.
that's the best option because you can charge your vehicle on your using gasoline. You can charge using
Well, if
your
it's
engine.
true what they're saying, like a Prius will get like, I don't know, it's 50, 60 miles to the gallon.
Right.
When, if
Right.
they have the highway and everything.
So mine's not want to go work.
What's wrong with that?
No, I mean,
that works a lot better
sounds like
because-
a lot better, more efficient car than.
It sounds like someone using your brain to do that versus something about going like, oh, where I was at this weekend, there'd been no way in God's green earth
No,
you
the
can have an electric
paperweight.
car up there.
Oh, it's just like that. What state was it last year? I made that meme about the buses that all went down because
the winter.
they were EVs. And,
Oh god, yeah.
oh, and that was some foreign country.
Yeah.
Their whole line of buses for the mass transportation went down because they forgot that it gets cold where they are.
I mean,
I gotta tell you something. This has something. Go ahead, finish this. I gotta tell you a funny story.
so my grandfather, he back in the 70s, he got a Vanguard electric car. They were made here in the United States, but they look like a golf cart. They were a two-seater. The batteries underneath, they had like 12 or 14 of them, car batteries that you had to recharge. But hey, guess what? About 6 months out of the year, you couldn't use it. I mean, so and he paid quite a bit. I think it was like $10,000 for it, or something, $8,000 for it back then, or something like that. That was quite a bit of money.
This story hasn't hit the news yet. In here, but did you hear about the guy on Monday who decided to drive his car he bought in the morning, and they want to give him a refund because it was messed up, and he
No.
wanted to go back. He decided that he'd return it, turn it right through the front of the door of the dealership. And then
Well,
says,
why
"No,
was
give
he
me a
trying to
refund."
return it?
Because there was a mechanical issue with the car when he
Are
got
you
home.
saying he literally
He bought the car in the morning.
drove it off, it didn't work, he brought it back
Come
to the
back,
dealership,
and
and the
the-
dealership didn't want to take it back
right,
or trade him a new car?
or do anything? So he decides like, well, guess what? I want my refund. I'll get it one way. So he turns around, drove right in the middle
Yeah.
of their thing.
That's
And
a,
the guys looked
no.
at him and were like, call the cops, call the cops. He's like, okay, now will you give me my freaking refund?
No.
no.
And
Now
I
you
just
just
looked at-
wrecked the car. They purposely wrecked it, and probably won't get insurance for it. Now he really screwed himself.
Yeah,
I think I did
he got arrested, but it was kind of fun.
the course,
I thought it was funny. I thought
the course of action I would have taken is stand up right there across the street from it, set up, look at this car was bought by here, and they want it back. Oh God, they'd be paying you money to shut up and go away. I mean, that's what I would have done. Destroying your own product? No, I mean, especially if they didn't give you a refund or the word deal with them initially. But it was.
What do you think about Trump pledging to accelerate approvals for projects worth $1 billion or more? That like he's going to fast track EPA, everything that goes with that company to get their.
I think it's a good, smart idea.
That's a
Bring
smart
the-
idea.
Bring the business
But
back
you know, the
in.
Democrats are crying about it.
Of course,
They-
even if they would have proposed something like this themselves, they just doing it just to spite. That's all it is. That's
Well-
I can't see how they could have any real issue with it of legitimacy. You know, I can't.
Think about it this way: the Democrats for the next 4 years are going to cry about every little thing. If Trump said, "Hey, I'm going to go to McDonald's and order a Whopper," they're going to be sitting there going, or not a Whopper, a Big Mac. They're going to be crying that he ordered it without too much lettuce and therefore this other stuff.
He didn't pass as our committee to get approval.
Right.
Oh my! That's another thing that the Republicans giving a hard time on his cabinet and his picks.
But
How stupid is that? And some of the people that they've okayed, like
Rachel Levine, the
Rachel
first one.
Levine, yeah,
Oh my, yeah, I mean, yeah.
they all voted on thumbs up. We're going to take a man in the dress.
Yeah, but we're going to take a guy
we're-
that actually loves the country.
Yeah, we're not going to take a guy who loves the country like Pete Hexa. What's his name?
Hexa.
Hexa.
Yeah.
Or we're not going to take Cash Patel.
Or we're not going to take I don't know Pam Bondi or anything like that.
People who've had experience in the
People
field,
who've
relative
done
field.
that job.
their job, and have all kinds of experience. The Republicans are going to give them a hard time, but they'll vote for a man in the dress.
Yeah,
They'll approve a man in a dress saying that he's a woman.
I don't.
Because that takes courage. What the heck
Well,
takes courage?
and the guy that they put in charge of overseeing what we do with nuclear waste was a bald-headed guy who wore dresses and
Who used to steal girls'
girls'
stuff.
dresses from the airports. I mean, these people are better prepared.
They're the people that our Congress approved, our Republicans.
So you want to
thumbs up, but
So that's the
I
guy
don't
who-
know if Pete Hexa, because he drinks too much.
He
and
drank
he's a
one time.
womanizer.
And he likes women. We can't have
Oh my
that.
God. And he's got tattoos too.
Oh my God! Just
Yeah.
to put the man in.
But it doesn't matter that he has Ivy League education and he's battle hardened and he knows what it takes to, and he's got
But
he's got SEALs behind him. and-
well, they had an actor who depicted a serviceman in a couple of movies, so their experiences overshadows his experience. I mean, it's ridiculous. A guy who's dealt with the reality.
He's
But
a
somebody,
morning talk show host.
yeah, Tom Hanks. Like we're bringing Tom Hanks because he was what was that movie? He was in Forrest Gump, where he actually played a Vietnam veteran or something. Like that. Yeah, he played a veteran in
Or Band
Forrest
of
Gump.
Brothers or something like
Yeah.
Take a look at number 6 and tell me what you think about that, John.
that. Antifa's activists fail. Right.
I'd say I didn't know anything about this. Antifa activists fail at queer ranch for transgender militants as animals die en masse. An attempt by Antifa activists to establish a queer ranch for transgender militants in Colorado ended disaster with all the animals reportedly dying en masse.
Oh my God!
I mean, where the hell's PETA? I mean,
I guess they forgot to
Somewhere.
feed them. I guess they forgot to feed the animals.
it's like, oh, they're so busy. We're trying our hairstyles and our makeup. Oh yeah, we forgot those pesky animals. We forgot to feed them again.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God!
Oh yeah.
Got caught
Oh
doing
my God. I mean, this stuff writes. I mean, you can't. Who the hell would actually be able to come up with this kind of stuff?
that. Well, look at this one. Snoop Dogg one cracks me up. Snoop Dogg calls out Trump supporters with harsh words. Where Snoop Dogg said Donald Trump is a fucking weirdo. Okay, wait a second. Snoop Dogg
Yeah, Snoop. Your name is
is
Snoop.
actually your name. You named yourself Snoop Dogg, and you're calling someone a fucking weirdo. If you vote for him, I don't have no problem with that. But if you're still with him, F you. Does it really matter what? And this is the guy's real name. And probably is why I changed my name too. Calvin Cordozar. Brodus Jr.
I mean, it's like what
No
is
wonder he's a
How do
drug
you
addict.
get dog
well,
out
it's
of
like
that?
I don't know, it's Snoop Dogg. I mean, and just like to me, it's like ridiculous. I mean, why do these people think that we have to have their approval? Okay, you entertain us, fine. I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, listen to it. I find it unbearable, but it's like I mean, I think it's ridiculous and a mundane overly. It's the same thing over and over again. They talk about, and I mean, I'm not even like most pop music anymore. I really don't. I mean, I don't
This
know what to.
guy, I'm sorry. I
It's just funny. He's just a caricature of himself
I mean,
now. He's an old man
who wants to be
trying to be
relevant.
a young kid and
well,
relevant.
well, see, the thing is, on the plus side, though, I
Has
had,
he ever been relevant?
well, some
Oh yeah,
people
you got to admit they're in a
I don't
culture.
know.
They're
I don't.
they've
rap,
influenced culture, yeah, rap
yeah,
and hip
he
hop
did.
does, but I mean,
But you got to remember it's 1990s,
right? But see, I,
when
So we're 30 some years away from that point when he was
where he
actually
was really
relevant.
relevant.
yeah.
But see, I,
Because he came out of jail, didn't he, or prison or something like
I
that?
know I don't think he actually served. I mean, I
No,
don't think he's a felon.
No, he was going to go. No, he beat the case, the murder case.
But another thing is though, like I was just,
He beat a murder case.
Yeah,
see, I
I
didn't
mean,
know
I
that.
don't know the whole thing, so I don't really want to get into it and
But-
speculate.
but, what-
he did go.
I was going to say, people I know of actually. I had a friend of mine whose his friend worked at concert venues, and they actually guarded for for Snoop Dogg. He was a very likable guy back then. He actually sat
Well,
around
I'm
talked
sure
to
he
people
is.
and
I'm sure
stuff.
this is persona.
Yeah, it might just be.
He probably got him some extra. Got his name in the news again.
Okay, guess what? F you. Guess what? If I get more pay in my paycheck at the end of the month, F you, man. I'm not going to buy the money at the tickets to your concert.
But he did say it's okay.
yeah, it's okay. I don't. It's just
You
confusing.
said you're
but-
okay,
but-
but you can't like him anymore. But you're okay if you voted for him.
Yeah, I don't
It
understand. That.
doesn't matter.
It just doesn't. I mean,
I mean, right now I can separate. I can watch a George Clooney movie and be okay.
Peacemaker was a
I
great-
don't care.
The Peacemaker is a
Oh,
great
and
movie.
Old Brother with the
that was great.
Come on, that's a good. You can't
Yeah, that's a good
take
movie.
away his talent.
No.
I can separate the two.
Well, first time I ever saw him on anything was Roseanne. He played a recurring character. He played like the manager of that plant that Roseanne worked at.
Yeah,
He was all right in that role. I mean,
Did
they're
he-
good
I-
actors.
He did play.
Yeah, he did play.
yeah.
it,
But
yeah.
what I'm saying is, I can separate the comedian or the actor
Right.
from
What they
the,
say.
the asshole.
See, unlike us, unlike you guys, we can actually say that's what you do as play. This is what you are in reality. You have a hard time
But
discerning
can-
that. You
I'm
know?
at a point where I can just ignore it. It's just white noise to me, as
It's-
John Carrier would say.
Yeah, it's like that's what exactly it is. It's like it should be because I mean, it doesn't make don't would it ever matter. Would we ever have a sit down conversation with this individual? Hell no. I mean,
No, but this is what they think is news.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's well. One time, when somebody was visiting from another country, and they were watching the news at the family I was hanging out with, and they went, it was like local news. He goes, they're covering this kind of stuff. Is your local stories? He's like, why would you bother talking about this stuff? Because it's
No, it should be in the National Enquirer.
Yeah,
Some of the
serious.
things they talk about.
That's-
Half this crap should be in the National Enquirer.
that's what you do. You hear these people.
the
About.
Antifa one is pretty funny. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sad for the animals.
Yeah,
but it is pretty funny.
it's like now I just think that these I can't understand these actors and everybody think that we have to get approval for them. It means anything. I mean, it means anything to us. What who they voted for, who they want us to
But
vote.
You guys
What-
did a good job.
but you
on that.
remember earlier today we were talking about Daniel Penny
Yep.
should sue
right?
Alvin Bragg.
Right.
Well, they are, and he heard for sure that they're going to do it.
Oh, that's good because I mean, they're going to. It was a punitive, just a punitive
Well, they
prosecution.
claiming collusion was brought against him.
Oh, yeah, I definitely could see
That
that.
all even because if from what I heard, the forensic person, I don't even know what the doctor, I don't know what her position was, but she said that he died from drugs originally, but that she changed her mind after she seen the video.
Oh, okay, but aren't you supposed to examine like the
The aftermath.
The aftermath
and
physically,
decide
right?
yeah.
It's like I think she's fearful. That's what it is. I mean, she's
Well,
fearful
I
of the
think she's
backlash.
fearful after
Well, you see
Bragg.
that DA. That DA was a nut job about how
Alvin Bragg?
No, about how she looked into. There was a murder case where the guy went up to the ATM, and I guess the guy was in his 80s, and he had a gun, and he was going to rob the guy at the ATM,
Mhm.
and the guy fell down and hit his head and died from it.
Yeah.
But she said it was a slam dunk murder case, but she looked at the man who happened to be black that committed it, and and looked at all of his extenuating circumstances and wasn't so harsh on him because it was an accident
What
that the man died at the ATM.
his intention was
Pulling
to
the
actually
gun
rob the
out on
person.
somebody and the guy falls.
Yeah.
That's an accident. He accidentally pulled a gun out.
No, I'm just saying that's the nut job.
Yeah,
Right.
I guess he
That
didn't
was
have.
the prosecutor against Penny.
Yeah, it was the victim's fault because he shouldn't have been so fearful.
He
of a
shouldn't
black
have
man
been at
with
the
a firearm, or shouldn't
ATM
be at the
getting money
ATM,
out of the
or shouldn't be 80
ATM.
years old and had money. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. They can go either way, all that way with it.
So what do you think about Bowman, though, actually weighing in on this one, where he wrote the letter, Dear White People?
I don't care.
But I know you don't, but I think a lot of people do care about it. And one of them, I kind of would be one to say, you know, this is getting old. This
Well,
stuff,
he's
and
got a
people are-
Congress he lost thanks to the Jewish lobby that went against him and spent all that money.
Yeah, but the question is
Was
this:
it APAC? Is that what
why?
it's called?
Yeah, APEC. Yeah,
Here's my question. You guys did a great
Okay.
job. I watched it on Monday. I watched what you guys were doing on Monday because that time.
Yeah.
So you guys did a great job on Monday.
We know.
Yeah. You didn't need me one bit.
No,
anyways,
we said that. I think
no, we
I think you did.
we're joking.
So here's
Hi.
the-
we were worried it went out.
No,
yeah, well, guess what it did.
A hot mic.
Yeah, hot mic did. Anyways, here's the thing. One of the things I was looking at, because I was studying stuff at the same time when you guys were talking about it. Here's what I don't understand. Bowman and all these other guys came out and said what they wanted to say about it.
Well, you got to say, first of all, if people don't know,
Daniel Penny was-
Bowman is black.
Bowman is black, and he is a congressman who actually pulled a fire alarm
yeah,
to stop a vote.
And,
everything like that.
and the Jewish APAC
yeah.
Right when that
got him.
he was the first member of the
got him
squad that got
primaried.
kicked out. He got primaried and got out. Here's the deal. What I actually have a question of, and if I was here on Monday, my question would have been this: if your family's so worried about this guy who died, which is a tragedy that the guy died, a tragedy if anyone ever dies. But here's an issue: why was this man homeless? Why wasn't the family taking care of him?
Because he was
Why wasn't-
schizophrenic and he was probably out of control. Because I've dealt with, I mean, that was my job for 15 years, or not 15, 11 years,
Okay.
mental health.
But-
If somebody's full blown schizophrenic and they're having an episode, whatever they think is right is right. You're not going to convince them any different.
Right, but this
And-
guy already had. I think he had a warrant for his arrest.
It's
already.
like 34 incidents.
Right, and then so that he was on the top 50 out of.
But the problem is
14
we
million
can't.
people.
You can't.
I'm not
just-
judging this guy.
You
one bit.
can't go in. You can't just put people in a mental health ward or institution anymore. It's not that easy.
No, I'm not saying that. Here's the question I have about it. Daniel Penny didn't know all this stuff when he first walked in there. This guy's going crazy. No one sat there and said, "Oh my God, this guy is this." and
No,
do all
he's
this
seen people in
schizophrenic
danger, and he reacted and acted and did what he thought was right. And what he did is tried to restrain the person until the police could get there.
I know, and what I'm trying to say is this.
And he
one of the
wasn't
things
alone. That's what I don't understand. There was 2 other people
that helped.
that helped him, and we don't even know their names.
No, we know one was black. We know one was
One was Hispanic.
Hispanic. I'm sorry.
The one that they keep on saying is black, I think he actually was Hispanic. But what I'm saying is we don't know their names
Yeah.
Because they wanted to take
Make
one
him white.
action because he's white.
because he was
They
white.
want to go
The
against
same
whole
thing they did with what was the little guy, the little Spanish guy in Florida or whatever, that the kid,
Oh,
in the
Zimmerman?
hoodie,
Zimmerman. George Zimmerman. Yeah,
They
the white Hispanic.
They reported him as white at first,
white
Yeah.
Hispanic,
and then when they found out he was Hispanic, then they still kept on calling him white.
Jewish, German, and Hispanic, but he's a white guy.
He looked Hispanic to me.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
think Daniel Penny should go after with everything.
You
against
said they
Alvin
were.
Bragg.
You said
Yes, no, but I think they should win, and I think something.
Well,
should be
and also I
addressed
heard
about Alvin
what
Bragg.
is Mr. Moss called? Dershowitz.
um,
He doesn't. He's got a name.
I
I
forget
mean,
the
he
name of
doesn't pronounce his name right. But anyways, Dershowitz said today on Glenn Beck's show. Glenn Beck was interviewing him. He said that father has no case because was estranged to him.
Right.
And he said any good jurist would just throw that case out on the merits of no merits.
yeah, they did.
He's trying to do a cash grab.
Yeah.
That's all he's trying to do. That's all it is right now. This guy's showing up on all these different talk shows talking about stuff. And the question
mean,
is,
how'd
he
you
will not
f-
answer is
How'd
the
you
question.
feel? How'd you feel when that big black dude said that we need to have vigilantes on the streets, and
And
then that little black lady who said more or less, "Fuck you, white people."
Yeah.
That's disgusting that they would even put that out on the news like that for everybody to see. I mean, that. What if it was white people doing that?
You would be.
You'd be in prison. You'd be thrown in jail for
Oh, you
saying
have
that.
every.
But
like in
because
riots and stuff,
they're
yeah.
black, they can talk like that.
Oh yeah, they've been able to talk
I don't
like this for-
understand. It's time.
ever since George Floyd,
it's
they've been able
time
to
to
talk
start
like this.
holding people's feet to the fire, and not physically, but.
No,
Yeah.
truly to what it is. But they've been holding ever
But
since
what's good
George
for the
Floyd.
goose is good for the gander, right?
Ever since George Floyd, ever since that whole
Oh,
situation.
but I think that
it was before that.
I
But every
think
George Floyd.
it's starting to backslide a lot. People aren't putting up with that shit anymore.
Well, it's like basically when we talked about is when you actually when Trump was elected,
Yeah, the
people got more
switch
freedom
changed.
and it switched, and people are like, you know what, screw
I
you.
mean, I've seen Trump hats out, walking around shopping.
Yep.
People wearing them.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I've seen them, and I think another. What's surprising when I've seen other states, like videos from other states, there's like
But this is Michigan.
yeah, but I'm seeing Hispanics and stuff like that, and blacks wearing those hats. I mean,
But I'm talking about in Flint, Michigan.
so definitely
people
Democrat
walking
strong
around
road.
with Trump hats on,
Yeah, I've got a few friends that do it every day. I mean, they're out there on
and
the
nobody's
street.
saying it.
Nobody's saying it. Look at all the signs we've had around here for Trump. They're still up. They didn't get.
But
thrown
I
out.
think, like I said, there was a switch that was tripped when he won. That people realized that they don't have to be embarrassed to be white and Christian anymore.
They don't have to be scared to be that anymore.
No.
Well, and I think that's going to build momentum. I think hopefully it's solidified within the 4 years that Trump's in
It's like
power.
some
You guys
Well,
were
said
talking
that-
about on Monday about how the more Bibles being sold this year and all sorts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The record numbers of Bibles. being
That's
sold.
hit. That's hit more media things in the last 3 weeks or last 3 days than anything
Well-
about the sales. Because of that, I think people are tired. They're not feeling like they're scared anymore.
Well, they,
For the last few years, you've been scared if you're white. If you're white, all you.
Oh,
did
I had a
was-
hard time, especially the VA being an old white guy
Yeah.
working there and actually being like a minority,
Yeah.
being white working there. You'd be surprised the number of blacks that work at the VA.
Yeah.
well, it's- my dad was in the post office, and back then, this was the 1960s. He got hired in, and he was a veteran, but he got 5 points added to his civil service exam to maybe give him a edge up. He
Right.
already scored a perfect score. He scored 100 on the test, so he got nothing out of being a veteran really. But there's more blacks hired back then than there were whites because the post office was one of the first places they actually had more of a affirmative action kind of program in place way before the 1950s, 1960s even. I mean, there were
Right.
1960s even.
But getting back to what we were talking about, that it doesn't matter anymore. People don't care. All this stuff is played out.
Yeah.
Antifa's played out. And besides, if Antifa tried some shit in Flint, they'd go to jail.
Well, it's like look around. Okay, there's only got 3 or 4 blocks of Saginaw Street that might be worthwhile burning for an effect. The rest of it, go ahead, burn it.
I'm just saying, in a real state, in a
Sorry,
state
break
where
down anyway.
in a state where they have actual law and
Yeah.
order,
Right.
like Michigan or even Wisconsin, Antifa doesn't have a chance like what they do in Seattle or
No,
New York or
even
whatever.
even in Detroit, Antifa would be put down quicker. So their action to be stopped here because everybody's getting tired of useless violence.
But even
Everybody
at the
is.
height, they
Well, this
would have
guy-
been put down.
This guy at that press conference, like, oh, we need to go out there and we need to radicalize people and go after it. It's like,
Why?
Why?
right?
Because they're not
No.
going to make the money anyways. What they're going to do, the lesbian ladies that are in charge of it are the ones that are going to make all the money.
Right. And she was there.
They made all
And
that
she
money
got-
in California, and first thing they did is bought a mansion in a gated community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we know that we've stirred up everybody. We want to be safe. I mean, it's like no, you have to live in the same neighborhood that you just came out of. Because you got all that money, you're supposed to help all those folks.
Oh no!
set up soup
You're
kitchens.
going to
and
hire.
clinics
You're
and-
going to hire.
Get away from them boys.
They hired their relatives as the head of their security.
Yeah.
with making hundreds of thousands
Like
of
Corey
dollars.
Bush. She hired her husband as the head of her security.
Her
And
husband would have been her wife.
No, Corey Bush
Oh.
did that.
Oh no, we're talking about.
No, I know.
We're talking about
the BLM.
BLM.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Corey Bush.
No, I'm drawing a blank on. I know
I
who
don't know.
Corey Bush is.
He think he's spacing out.
No, he's not.
Some of those drugs
Corey
he's
Bush.
taking for his.
Back? Yeah, no, I'm not spacing today.
I was talking about for your mental disorders.
But Oh yeah, here's another one too. I mean, Reuters fact checks Babylon Bee satire about UK's farewell phrase. Reuters fact checked a satirical Reuters, yeah, Reuters. Okay, Reuters. I got Reuters. I've heard different. And fact checked a satirical Babylon Bee article claiming Alua Akbar had replaced Trio Mate as the UK's favorite farewell, sparking both amusement and criticism or fact checking humor. I mean, it's the Babylon Bee, folks. Okay, it's like it's not made to be factual. It's supposed to be funny, and it's missed on you because you don't understand the concept of Babylon Bee being satire. It's hard. It's hard to describe satire with people who have no sense of humor. You know, I mean, it's and that's what I mean. The leftists are humorless people.
But it's all because of Babylon Bee that Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Yeah.
Because Babylon Bee was one of the first things that he brought back when he bought Twitter. I mean, it was on that show when they talked about it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Twitter did ban or something Babylon Bee.
Right, but I'm saying the Babylon Bee had Elon Musk as one of their guests,
right?
And that's where they talked about Twitter, and he talked about buying it on that show.
Oh, so that'd be great to be part of that. I mean, I'd love to be the first one to break a story like that. But anyway, I mean, I just think it's like the left is so easily unhinged. I mean, seriously,
that was stupid back then when they thought, oh, we're going to kick everybody off Twitter and they're not going to have a platform anymore. All it did is made people stronger, especially like Alex Jones.
It really backfired on him. Joe Rogan,
and it was going to be remember it was going to be the end of the world when Elon Musk let Alex Jones back on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And nothing happened.
Nothing happened. I mean, and I just this.
You think that people are just tired of the fact that they always have a heart attack about everything.
Well, they try to make us think, but they try to make us think like the group think, like it's supposed to be important to us too.
Yeah,
but they can't do it anymore.
Well, I had a friend do that one time when I was in college. Something was going on. The leftists were flaming about, you don't care about this one. No, I really don't. I mean, I can't find a way of saying. I can't reach into, a scanning electron microscope couldn't have measured the indifference I had to this right at that point.
Yeah, when you realize that the news media, all they ever report on is New York, Seattle, LA, Chicago, and nothing else.
Right.
Yeah, we're supposed to be all concerned with what's happening in these different cities in the United States.
One of my friends from the left, she lived here. Now she's on the left coast. She was, she's like saying about when Trump ran the first time. She goes, "You don't see him. You got to say though, there's something wrong with the man." He says he grabs one by their. I said, I'm just like, he's a guy. That's shop room. I mean, the locker room talk. No, it doesn't bother me. I've heard a lot worse. I probably said a hell of a lot worse. I mean,
anybody has.
And women talk that way.
Oh God, I've overheard women's conversations far more disgusting and graphic than ours. Serious, far more.
You ever accidentally go in a woman's bathroom?
Yeah, actually I have. But
you probably did it on purpose.
No, actually, because I worked. Don't forget, I worked at the campus. And
they're dirty.
Oh yeah.
No, the bathrooms.
They're dirty.
Oh yeah, I've never been in. What are you trying to say?
I'm just asking.
No, I'm just saying the bathrooms
they're disgusting.
They're disgusting.
Because
because I actually had female coworkers saying that they had to use our bathroom because their bathroom was broken. And they said, "Man, your bathroom's clean."
Yeah, because we there's some. I'll have to tell you off camera.
You don't have to talk
but
about it.
But it was like the bathrooms when we were cleaning up there at U of M. I was in housekeeping. The girls did not want to do the girls, but they'd be safe for them to go in case there was somebody in there who was a female.
Right.
And that was a definitive thing. You could actually say that back then. But anyway, they would say, "I hate it. It's disgusting, man. There's all kinds of stuff that they don't. I don't want to go into it.
No, you don't have to go into it.
But I mean, it was
just not a clean bathroom.
It's not a clean bathroom because there's
it's kind of a crappy situation.
What's even worse than that? It's even worse than that. But anyway, but they didn't like it, and I mean, but we did have to knock on the door. But I actually didn't.
And they're worried about the toilet seat being out.
Yeah, you're worried about the toilet seat. Like I've always liked those two. They worried about the toilet. They bitch about the toilet seat being up, and you look at the vanity. It's all covered with all their stuff, their makeup and their their creams and stuff. Okay, but I left the seat up. You can't put the seat down, but it takes a second to do. I don't know. Maybe you should have a little lever you can raise and lower it on the side of the toilet. I don't know, but has somebody ever looked into that so you can stop all these fights? But the domestic tranquility is said about when they come up with the lever.
I just found it's just a lot easier not to have one of those complainers around.
Yeah, it's like you didn't lower the toilet seat. Oh, okay. Oh, so what? Put it in. Is your fingers broken? Your hands broken?
So you found out I didn't do it. You didn't put it down.
Sat
That
into
was your
it.
problem.
I always look before I go, but anyway,
Okay.
just plop it down there, right? Go into it. But
But what about what? Okay, the Michigan, there's
Where we at?
our
Michigan?
Congress is supposed to be like in a lame duck session, but instead of what they're doing is trying to
Pass
raise
money.
taxes on everything,
Everything.
and also have giveaways.
yeah, and then also I heard too, and another thing that's not covered in the major news is they try to pass a crap load of restrictions on CPL holders, concealed pistol license
Yeah.
holder, where you can't go to now, even with the CPL. So I mean, maybe the Democrats could push them through, and then she'll sign, obviously, and then maybe the Republicans, when they come in, can get that taken care of.
Sort of
It's
stupid,
ridiculous.
isn't it?
It's we got to
Well, what
leave our
about-
mark.
okay, but we're talking just
What's the last thing they can do?
what they're trying to do to deer hunters, because you got these people like we found
All right.
because we've got a friend.
He loves hunting.
Yeah, we're helping him with the process of the meat. And he gives us some of the meat. I haven't had to go to the store for meat for,
About a month now,
well, I don't know, for a couple of weeks.
couple of weeks, yeah, because we got a lot of good meat.
But the thing is, it ended up being what we figured, what, $2 a pound.
Yeah, what we're paying out for it to help him is giving us the meat for like $2 a pound.
That's not bad.
No, and it's better meat than you can buy at
But
the
the thing
stores.
is, right now his combo license costs $50
Yeah.
Right.
because you can get bucks and does.
Right.
Right.
And also the processing costs like $120. But what the Democrats want to do is they want to double that and make it $100 for the the combo license would be $100.
That's stupid.
Because it's
But the thing, but they're hurting the people. They're hurting people.
they don't
with that
care
one.
They
because
really are.
we don't like hunting. We want to discourage
But
it, so
they
we're
don't-
just going to make it more punitive.
No, I don't know if it's that.
I do.
That I don't think it is. I think
No,
it's
they
more-
think they're rich people going out there hunting for fun when these
Right.
people are hunting to feed their families.
I mean, it just, I think it has a lot
they
to
want
do.
they want their hands in everything. They want to.
We want to control you.
Well, think
Yeah,
You're
about
too
that's
it.
stupid to
Think
live on
about
your
it.
own.
You're paying. You're a homeowner. You got, I don't. Let's say you got 20 acres. You're paying taxes on those 20 acres,
Right.
and then you also got to pay to harvest animals and fish from your own property.
You know, it's because
you-
everything
you-
belongs to the king.
You have maybe you made that lake, and you put the fish that are in there, but you got to have a fishing license to fish a lake or pond on your own property.
That's because
Or
everything
hunt an animal.
it goes back to England. You know, what other European? It's everything
Well,
belongs to the queen
we
and the
don't-
queen.
there's-
That's exactly what it
there's-
is.
Please tell me what a hunting license tax on a hunting license
Well,
does.
it probably goes to everything except what
What's
it's
the,
supposed to go. It's supposed
No,
to
I mean
go,
I don't even know.
it's
what
supposed to
it was.
go
The
into
retirement.
like, well, no,
It's supposed to help
for
the
deer,
wildlife
like
and
the
stuff.
Maintenance,
wildlife,
yeah,
yeah,
wild-
maintenance, making sure that we got enough of them and that they're not sick and
Right.
different things like that.
But it doesn't go to that.
I'm sure it doesn't. Just like remember when the lottery came out, what was the lottery supposed
For
to
go to
do?
schools.
It's supposed to go to schools and
Schools
bring
are-
down taxes for
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the
Hasn't done that.
education. No, they
We've
take
increased
that money.
taxes.
And how many school districts are? Let's face it. How many schools were left in Flint? How many schools are left in Detroit?
Well, right now, look at Detroit. If you're on top of that, look at the top one of the top 10 bad schools, worst schools out there.
Yeah.
Detroit has 5 of them.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
But we spend all this money and we got to have a Department of Education, don't we?
Yep.
And
And
we
you could prove there's a graph that goes where education was
Yep.
when it came in what
1980.
1981,
1980, 81. Yep.
where it just steadily declines.
Yeah.
Our education, the kids being able to read out of school and properly educated. I mean,
Well,
I did it backwards. I went to actual universities and I went to Central Michigan. I went to Hawaiian Pacific University and to get my degree.
Mhm.
And I didn't take my prereqs. So
Okay.
I thought I'd go to Mott to take I had to take
Two
English.
prereqs.
I had to take English and something else. I couldn't do it because they were undisciplined, just a bunch of acted like they're a bunch of little high school kids.
Yeah.
And the professor, teacher, whatever you want to call the person, had no control over the class.
and then they can't really exert that. I mean, as
So
being adults.
what I
so-
did is I just found online
I did it online.
college and did everything online and just dropped those courses.
See, so I graduated. See, I started going to Mott back in '81. Back then,
That
there was a
was
lot
different
different.
in
It was a lot different. It was a
1981.
lot different. Well, for one thing, it was
Well, think about
you didn't
it.
have that many inner city kids in there.
People our age had jobs before they went. I
Right?
mean, in high school,
Right.
I'm sure you had a
Right,
job.
we had
I
jobs.
had a job, but our friends were getting married straight out of high school
Right?
and going and becoming productive members of society or whatever you want to say.
Right.
That we were actually adults.
Mhm.
They're not adults now.
No, they're
There are
kids.
no rules for them. They all get prizes for anything that they do,
Or they get
or they don't. I don't even think. Didn't they take away E's and D's for grades?
no. Now it happens. You flunk a test. They give you the answers, and then let you retake the test
Yeah. It's
until you pass it to get an A.
we never had that option. And then
No, you
Because I was
either.
always wondering. No. I was wondering why Andrew was getting like straight 4 points all the time, and never really studying. Well, guess what? He doesn't have to. Here's the deal: he takes the test, flunks it, turns around,
But
gets the
then what I'm
answer.
saying is, they're not raising adults anymore.
no, I mean it's
No.
perpetual
They're
adolescence.
perpetually children.
Right?
And these kids do it all online. They don't
But
need anything.
I mean, well, when was the last time you had a job where you had to deal with? How long have you been in business?
I've been in business for myself for about 20 years.
I've
Our
been
town
But-
tax, by the way.
But our town tax, but here's the other
But
side
I-
about it. I used to work for people back
But
in
what I'm
human
saying,
resources.
I've been retired for I don't know, going on 4 or 5 years. I've lost track.
Well,
It's
from
been-
one
it's-
job,
it's
you had
been-
another
it's
career that
been
you
so
retired from.
it's been so great.
If you retired from your
But
career,
what I'm saying is, the kids coming in
No.
would go, "You want me to come in every day?
yeah,
And I have to be here at
I
7
have to be
o'clock.
here at a certain time. I
Yeah.
can't just be around that time. Oh, and I can't sleep at night."
yeah. Did you?
They would quit. They would come in, see what they had to do, and they would
leave.
be gone. I told my manager, hire old people. Stop hiring kids.
No, actually, I'll tell you what. We at our town tax hired 2 older women.
Well, but I'm
No,
talking
and
about.
honestly, they
But
are the
that's
best.
different. I'm sorry, but that's different. I'm talking about where you actually had to work for somebody else, and you
When I had to
see
work for
what
somebody-
type of people that they were hiring.
No, when I worked for like at HR, but then I also worked at one time. I worked
Okay,
at a
then you
factory.
interviewed these kids when they're
No.
coming in. You knew that they were going to
Oh
fail.
God, no! It was sad. It was
and,
hard.
and they're all happy because they've got a bachelor's degree in this, and I could care less if you got a bachelor's degree in underwater basket weaving. It
Right.
doesn't make you a better person.
No,
It just proves that
Heck,
you can
it'd
go
be
to
like-
school.
I don't know what you guys called it. We had a school in the Navy, but I don't know what you guys had, whatever your school you guys had, but they'd always tell you when you went to your first command, forget everything you ever learned in a school. We're
Well,
gonna
this
teach you what the
I
real
was a
school-
drill sergeant for a couple of years, and that's the last thing I would tell. Congratulate. Well, I wouldn't even congratulate. I wouldn't tell him anything. I'd say I
Yeah,
gave him a
I
hard.
never
I
say
gave him a
that.
hard time on the way out. But the first thing I say, don't you ever. Everything we taught you here,
Forget it.
I didn't say forget it. Remember it. But if they tell you the way that they want you to do it at your new unit,
Do it that way.
do it that way. I don't ever want to, because I knew some of the places that we're going to go. I don't want any of my peer or any sergeants that I know to tell me that Sergeant Myers told you to do it this way.
Right.
You do it their way.
Right.
This is this basic training.
Of life, and then
Yeah.
what the military wanted.
yeah.
But getting back to what I was saying, but you've seen these kids.
Yeah.
You were hiring them
Oh.
and you were interviewing them, and you knew they were turds.
When they come in when they come in with like shorts on and flip flops, and they're like they want $12-15 an hour to do, and they've never had a job before.
What did you hire them for?
We hired them for the line, and they were not coming.
For what?
When I was in human resources at Plastic Research,
I
They
thought you
came in-
worked at McLaren too.
I did. I worked at McLaren too. When those guys came in, that was a whole lot of fun because we had people coming in for every skilled workers and stuff like that. They weren't even halfway dressed nice to come in, and they wanted to have, $35,000 a year job, 45, 50,000 a year.
Everybody I knew were scrubs. So
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the administration side that they were coming in for stuff like that and scrubs. I mean, there's a lot of people of different ways. I mean, people don't want to do what people want them to do. I used to love it. I used to love orientation. When you do orientation, people fall asleep halfway through an orientation, and you knew that those guys were never going to make it into work. You know, they're not going to work, but
Or they come in late for orientation.
and they always have an excuse.
Oh, we have a couple of comments here. They don't give answers to retake it. 100% agree about the retesting. As it
Is
doesn't-
that Andrew?
No,
No, that's Julie.
Julie. It doesn't support failing in life and no retakes. Yeah, about retesting in life. I mean,
What's she saying?
No, I'm
Lauren?
not saying Andrew's a bad kid.
no,
Oh no, we're not. But I know
just-
Julie's watching now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
They do say Andrew's a bad kid?
No. They do actually give you ability to get the answers, and
But Andrew's a good kid.
Andrew's a good kid.
No,
except
Okay,
don't-
for-
he seems like a good kid.
Yeah, we don't want you to. You make sure you can go back home safely.
Yeah,
you
I'll
know,
be able to go home.
But I could look at when I was a kid. We were taught from grade school, your purpose of education so you can get a job and be self-sustaining. Nowadays, it's like, well, can you relate to work? Well, okay, it'd be ideal if you could find something a passion you pursue and it became your job.
But
Okay,
you know,
wait a
a
second.
couple of
different.
jobs I got in trouble because I would come early.
You come
I
in
get
early.
there early. Oh no, if it says you're supposed to be here at 9 o'clock, you get here at 9 o'clock.
I always encourage people.
We always
to show up
got
a little
told
bit
if you showed up on time, you were late. If you didn't show
Yeah.
up 15, 20 minutes early, you were late.
Because I grew up in between the smokestacks of Buick and AC. The whole center of our existence was work. I mean, we never left work. Work was always around us. We came
What's-
home and slept for a few hours, but
Right.
that was it. You know.
What's the top comment?
That was never. Alice has never missed a comment. It's from Restream. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but no, I mean, so basically that was our religion. Blue collar. I mean, you can't get more blue collar than living in this neighborhood. You can't. I
No.
mean, you're smack dab between one corporation, but two different set of plants. Well,
I don't know about you, but I'm happy I grew up here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I have a better perspective. I mean, I like the fact that there's some people like Roseanne. She loves how I talk and identify being blue collar. I am blue collar. I don't care about you actually work for a living or you didn't belong to the right. I don't give a damn about people who belong to the country.
I'd rather be blue collar than anything else. I don't want to be white collar. I like blue collar.
I mean, to me, blue collar people are honest. They treat people
But
better.
there's not the. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with
I
white collar
couldn't be
people.
white collar.
We
What
need
I'm
both.
saying is
but-
Yeah,
that
good
I don't
badge.
want to be. I don't want to be uppity. I'd rather be. The one thing I find more about blue collar workers than anything else is they're down to earth. They will talk to you. They'll
I
do
would
their thing.
consider HR
You-
white collar. Yes.
It's
Yeah,
You're in
it's cross between. It's
administration.
administrative. It's kind of a cross between, but
No, there's no cross. You
don't think
never
so?
wanted to talk to HR because there's trouble.
No, actually, HR was always set up there to be one thing. It's for the manager.
It's hire and firing. You
Yeah.
don't want to talk to HR.
No, it's like
But
you
now
should-
HR is totally different than when I was. in
Other
HR.
like the complaint box.
Now it's like,
They're
oh, let's
picking
everybody
on
come
me.
together. Let's everyone
We need to
together.
come. We need to come in and have a little meeting with.
Oh, now
with
they have to say
people.
different things like, I don't know, great outtake or great something. What the hell does that mean? But I always have to hear Julie say that when she's talking to people. Great outtake. And that's
is
something
it
we're-
gray or great? You say
Great,
great,
great.
great outtake.
You
An
know,
outtake.
Yes, it's a great outlook.
Oh.
Great outlook on this. Great catch. All that sort of stuff. I'm like, what'd they say?
No, I hate it when people talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, like I'm a little kid.
No, that's what they have to say now.
Great
because,
job. You
because
did
HR is
so
telling them
good.
that you have to say this. It has to be more. It has to be a more team building than anything else.
I hate that crap. It's like there's no I in team, but there is in all kinds of things.
There's a
like-
win.
Yeah,
There is a win. There's
Yeah.
one.
there also is what they call it. I like the
But
individuality.
there's a you
better.
and me.
Yeah, I just
But there's not in team. There's no you.
Okay, but I'll tell you what I did. Human
But
resources.
there is a me.
I will tell you what I've done. Human resources in manufacturing, and I've done human resources in medical. And if you-
Manufacturing is different.
Yeah.
You put me in. If you give me a choice, every day long, I will take. I will take HR over manufacturing than in medical.
Well, it depends what. I mean, if you're hiring nurses and techs,
It's not
that's
so much
different,
hiring; it's all
because
the
the
different
nurses.
crap you have to go through.
But the nurses and
all the
techs
different
come
complaining.
in and like McLaren, they you know what the nurses and techs are going to do.
Right. But no, it's not so much that it's always having to go back and forth with the union, whether or not this person's this way or this person's that way, or this person has this complaint, this person has that complaint.
Unions are worthless in medical.
I mean, I value their past. I mean, especially the UAW. I knew a lot of people that were connected to that.
You
but-
got a comment?
great call out. Yeah, great, Julie.
It's a great call out. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Great
Yeah,
call
great
out.
call out. Yeah. So I just no, but I value what the unions did in the past. I mean, they had to do. They had to stick be created. But after a while, they become this. They become the labor source.
The
Basically,
monster.
they become they become too political. I mean, they backed one party wholesalely,
Especially
which I
when
don't
they
think was
team
that
up,
smart.
especially when they team up with HR.
Yeah, it's like that's basically like I said though. They
Because HR is worried that they have to do they not only have to satisfy corporate,
Right.
but they got to satisfy the union as well. So
Right.
that's probably a pretty
It's a hard job.
thin line that you got to talk about.
it's
But I cut John off. I can tell by the way he looked at me.
no, I was just saying it's just become like with the UAW basically become like the supplier of labor, and they had to basically it was very politicized then. You had to be a certain group of people. You had to be part of the hierarchical structure that existed in the union, which basically shouldn't be existing anyway. I mean, they came in contact, they came into existence to combat privilege and stuff like that, and unmerited raises and stuff like that.
I
And that's
think
exactly what
I
they
think the
serve.
mistake would be a union should they shouldn't have bosses and all these representatives. It should
No.
just be lawyers doing the bid. You know what I mean? Not so much
They
all
should
these
not-
people on the floor and everything that have no real training other than people like them. And
Oh,
and-
you're talking
because
about
I've seen
like-
some
committee
dumb,
man.
like a
I've seen
committee
some
man
dumb
somewhere.
committeemen.
Yeah,
before
committee men. Yeah, I mean,
that don't know anything, and
There's some-
they're happy to have them
yeah.
because they don't know. If you don't know the rules, how are you going to use them against the union or use them against the
Yeah.
hospital
You can't.
or whatever it is that you're a union for? And they do hire dumb people, or they do have dumb people in these positions for the most part, because smart people don't want anything to do with it.
What I always thought was weird when I did go through towards sort of some of the plants just before they closed up, there's like office space, and I actually found out that actually was for union reps to actually have a place to meet with people inside the building. What boy, that's why basically the GM's called upon to give like a meeting place for the enemy or their nemesis.
That's in all the negotiation rules.
Yeah.
That's in all the contracts that people don't understand. The other side is that guess what? When you actually have a team that comes from the union side, that side from the employee side of the union,
Yeah,
guys, you have to actually provide the company, and this is what I don't understand. The company has to provide the workforce for them to actually come off the thing, plus give them all these different situations, plus set them up and everything. The one thing that as a human resource I never can understand is this: where's the money going from all the people's union dues? And
I
everything
don't
like that?
know, man. Like,
Because it
I
doesn't go
would-
to pay. It doesn't because the company always has to pay. That's the difference between where I worked for HR when it was in manufacturing and HR in medical.
right.
HR of manufacturing, my job was to do one thing. It was protect the owner of the company. It was protect us as the management side and make sure everything was going forward with it. When I was in HR over on the other side, that was all political, and that was the different. But when I was on
well,
one
how many
side,
unions? Like you had the Teamsters and what's McLaren? I mean, can you say
McLaren,
what?
yeah, Flint, you had the
Then you
Teamsters,
had
the
Teamsters,
union,
and then you
the nursing
had
unit because they had their
AC
own one.
what
The nurse
ASME.
asked me,
Mhm.
and then you had the non-skilled and the skilled. You had multiple different, and you had to know every one of those contracts and everything. And we actually had at that time the VP of HR was a guy that was a union president down in Detroit who came up here and was this stuff, and he was a little bit off his game on everything because he was always chasing after skirts and stuff like that. And it was just a whole different. It was different, right? And it was the day I actually got tired of being in human resources was the day that the union guys wanted me to fire a girl who was actually working two parts of her job, couldn't afford to pay her union dues because she was trying to put food on the table. That's all she was trying to do is put food on the table, pay her bills, and everything like that. Her ex-husband wasn't paying any child support, didn't have to. She was trying to get her kids to go to school, pay for the food, do everything like that. She showed them the budget. And they had her as the one spot. And the whole thing is they said, we don't care, you have to fire them. At that point, when they actually made us fire her, and our HR guy, the head of the AP and all that said, do what they say, it's a thing. And we agreed to something like that. It was the day I'm like, I'm done with this crap. And I am. That was the day I was done with human resources. Because honestly, here's the deal. When the union is sitting there telling you that you have to fire somebody because she can't afford to be part of your organization.
And she's forced
Then
to
they
belong
should
to it.
fire.
No, they don't. No, they were there
They're
to
the
say
good
that she should be
guys.
fired. No, but here's the thing. It's like, well, she's a scab. She's using our business for free. She's saying, I don't even need I don't want you to represent me.
But
I don't
thanks
need
to
you represent me."
Whitmer, we're back to she changed us from a right to work state back to a union state. That was
Right.
one of the first things that woman did.
But the problem is that I'm not anti-union. Please don't get that out of this.
But you should have
What
the
I-
choice if you want to be in the union or not.
Yeah. And
Well-
you're telling me what I have to do with my own paycheck. Okay, the government already does that. I understand that they take taxes out. But other than that money they take out for the taxes, should never have to be ever told by another organization what I do with my money. And the union sits right there.
You
and
can't
gets
even
itself to
own
it.
property in the United
We're,
States.
I mean, people were slaves. I mean,
So-
so many people
Are
have
the
control of our
unions-
lives. We're
are-
union. We're
so
the
let me
slaves.
ask you a question. As we're slaves, are we a slave to the union?
Well, yeah,
Yes,
we partially.
you're
If you belong to the
because you
union,
got no choice. You're in that if you got a job that has a union.
So tell me, because when my grandparents were part of, like you talk about your grandparents and you talk about yours and everything, my grandfathers and great grandfathers were part of the 1937
sit down straight.
sit down strike.
That's different though.
They sat down for
was
the fight
needed.
for a group that needed something.
Right.
But today, that same union that everybody was fighting for back then because they needed that part
Right.
Because the
is now
union-
turned
okay.
into a people.
But the thing is, unions make money. They're like a shadow corporation.
Another thing is too that because years ago when the 37 from then on for a while, the people who were in the union were and who represented the union were from the rank and file, the people who actually
Right.
did the jobs.
Right. And what I think is the mistake was made when they made these conglomerations of unions where they went and sucked, where there might have been in the city of Flint, there might have been like the Iron Workers Union. You know what I mean? Smaller unions,
Right. Yeah.
where
Could be
they
a more bigger
actually
thing.
could help the people because the people in those unions knew that's all they focused on.
Right.
But now you got the UAW and you got the Teamsters. Why are Teamsters who were supposed to be truck drivers? I guess it's where they were
Originally,
at the
right.
beginning. Now they're in the hospital.
So they just basically expanded their because they couldn't imagine just not existing.
But I
So,
think the unions need to be busted up like Bell Telephone was busted up.
yeah, that's
Because
Make them smaller. Make them smaller because they need to be smaller to be able to serve. You don't need your regional headquarters is in Ohio or whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean? It should be. Your union should just be the people in that hospital.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's
so-
exactly should be it.
Well, another thing is too. The point I was going to make too, though, from the original people who actually done the jobs, to people who really just went to college to study labor relations. I mean,
Right.
there's such a cut. There's such a such a detachment from that. The reality of it and just all theoretical. There is no rubber meets the road scenario. They don't know how people can scam. They just see things in black and white. They don't see the areas of gray. They don't see that one group of people just because their management doesn't make them bad people. Just because these people are the people you're supposed to represent in your union is always going to be right. I mean, even if they were wrong, you're still supposed to back them, even though they're totally screwed
But
up.
even though you got the college education, if you don't have
Practical
if you
knowledge.
don't know if you don't have practical,
Exactly my point I make. Yeah.
and that's where my argument is: unions should be smaller and be a direct representation of whatever
The union membership.
the
The
union
government
membership
doesn't
is.
allow these corporations to be the monopolize on anything. Why is the union able to do what?
That's
you're
what
talking
I-
about?
that's what
No, I
I'm
agree.
saying.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm saying so. There's the case you can't come against what Steve's saying because the government is already sitting there saying, "Oh, you can't monopolize anything."
But because they got lobbyists.
yeah, that's it.
It's exactly what they got. They got I mean, it's just, the thing is, when is citizens going to have a lobbyist? Because a lot of times citizens are not, because they say if you belong to a union, you have representatives. We're going to Washington to talk to your politician.
Look,
if you don't belong to them, who's going to
If
represent the
these
average citizen?
scumbags can try to take down Donald Trump, one of the most powerful people in the world, what chance do we have?
And that's
That's the point. The average person is totally without representation. of any
Because it's
sort.
just become an untamed beast.
Right.
That if you're in the right positions, you're like the upper crust, and we're just the what
Okay.
was it the stinky people that go to
Peasants.
Unwashed
Walmart?
masses. Yeah.
oh,
What
yeah.
did you say? The stinky people that go to Walmart?
Yeah. It's like, I never said
Someone
that.
said that.
Yeah.
No, I mean someone said that they didn't want to be around the stinky people at Walmart.
Oh,
Oh, it's one of
You brought it up last show. You're the one that said it.
no, I think it was about talking about the people about they wanted a special air
For the
conditioner.
air,
Yeah.
that's what. But
Yeah,
that's
you
you're
brought
right.
it up. You
no,
brought-
you did last show
I don't remember that.
about they didn't want to smell in Congress. You said Mitch McConnell.
No,
Harry Reid.
That
That's Harry
was
Reid.
him. That was him that brought
Oh,
it up.
you're both the same. I think
We-
it's time to
but
push the
all right.
music.
All right.
guys are being